million adults, 33.9% ay kalalakihan at 3.6% mga kababaihan ang naninigarilyo sa Pilipinas. Araw-araw, nasa 4% lamang ang naging matagumpay na nakapag-quit habang nasa 76.7% naman ang nagplano o nag-isip na huminto sa paninigarilyo. Pero bakit nga ba tayo dapat umiwas sa paninigarilyo? Ayon sa World Health Organization o WHO, sigarilyo ang nangungunang sanhi ng kamatayan, disabilities at iba pang sakit. Sa buong mundo, nasa 8 milyon katao ang namamatay taon-taon dahil sa paninigarilyo, habang 1.2 milyon naman ay mga non-smoker na nalantad sa second-hand smoke. Sa pinakahuling report ng WHO, nasa 1.1 billion ang bilang ng mga naninigarilyo sa buong mundo at karamihan dito ay nasa low and middle income countries. Ito ang dapat mong malaman.
Ito ang dapat mong malaman. Mahigit sa 100 milyong katao ay namumuhay ng walang akses sa malinis na tubig sa Southeast Asia. Sa Pilipinas, batay sa World Health Organization report, isa sa bawat 10 Pinoy ay walang napagkukunan ng maayos at malinis na tubig. Dahil dito, diarrhea ang isa sa mga nangungunang dahilan ng pagkamatay sa bansa. Kapag may diarrhea, importante na maibalik ang nawawalang tubig sa katawan. Uminom ng maraming malinis na tubig para iwas dehydration. Makatutulong na mag-brat diet, bananas, rice, apples, and toast. Kumain ng probiotic foods para sa pagbuti ng gastrointestinal system. Payo din ng mga doktor ang ORS o Oral Rehydration Solution para makatulong ma-rehydrate ang katawan at maibalik ang electrolytes na nawala. Siya nga pala, iwas sa mga mamantikang pagkain, mga madadahong gulay, spicy food, kape, tsaa, gatas at alcoholic drinks. Huwag baliwalain ang diarrhea. Delikado ito. Kapag lumala ang kondisyon, sumangguni agad sa doktor. At ito ang dapat ninyong malaman.
I have to speak in English this day, no po? Yung ating guest is actually English only. So, anong tawag dito, Kuya Bob? Yung sinasabi, ano na nga yung sinasabi? Whenever we speak in English, yung nagdurugo yung tenga. Anyway, welcome to Radyo Agila sa Amerika. This is Don OROZCO, live from Silicon Valley, California. We know very well that today we are being heard live in the Philippines through Radio Agila Jess 62 in the Philippines. And it is Saturday, 12 to 1. That's the schedule of our show. And here in the US, of course, it is Friday night, and we are live from 9 to 10. Our guest is, a very accomplished woman. And I am so impressed at reading, her, her bio, and to tell you frankly, itong ating guest holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Health Science from California State University. Dito lang in Hayward, And then this is much bigger because she is also Masters of Arts degree in Counseling Psychology from John F. Kennedy University. Malapit lang yan, di ba? And a Doctor of Education degree in counseling psychology from Argosy University. Alam po ninyo, let us not prolong the intro anymore. Let me just present to you Dr. Jennifer Briscoe. Good evening in our time zone, Jennifer.
Good evening.
And let us, and I welcome you to our show, Radio Agila sa Amerika. Jennifer,
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm very honored.
your camera. Oh, okay, there you go. Okay,
Thank you for having
Jennifer.
me.
Okay,
I'm very
take
honored
two.
to be here.
Uh-huh. Yan. You know what's funny is that when I met Dr. Jennifer was actually by accident. We met in a Philippine restaurant, right?
Yes.
So we were both eating the sisig, the tapsilog, and everything. Yeah, and
Hmm.
I was just wondering, she doesn't look like Filipina, po. But I said, "Hey, are you Filipina?" And she graciously said, "Yes." And it turned out she is one person that we're actually trying to get in touch with. Why? Aba, alam po ninyo, si Jennifer is actually, she's a licensed marriage and family therapist and administrator for Telecare's Memorial Right Crisis Residential and Substance Use right here in San Jose, California. Am I right, Jennifer?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So, before anything else, Jennifer, maybe it would be best that you say hi to your family and friends because I know that your dad is tuned in. I will actually be forwarding you the link, our Facebook link, so that your family can actually watch. There you go. I have already sent it. So,
Oh, thank you.
greetings to your friends and family.
Yeah, so my dad, my father, Rodrigo Galindo, is actually in the Philippines right now. He's in a
Uh-huh.
Sanad Ilocos Sur. He's there for his 2.5 month vacation with my cousins there, Mario
Okay.
and all my cousins.
So how long has he been gone?
He's been gone 2 months. He has 2 more weeks
Two
to go.
months.
Yeah, he'll
Okay,
be
so
at the
two
end of
more
this.
weeks and he's back.
Yes.
Back to the United States of America.
Yes.
is
Back
he
home.
is he residing? Is he residing also in San Jose?
He resides in Union City.
In Union City. But
Yes.
are you from Union City or are you from San Jose or from another city?
I'm from the Bay Area, Fremont. We grew up in Fremont, went to school in here.
Okay.
Yes.
Ayan. Alam po ninyo mga kababayan, yung sinabi niyang Bay Area is actually Silicon Valley. So you'll see all the cities from San Jose, and then there's Fremont, there's Milpitas, there's Mountain View. Lahat ng mga tech companies nandito po sa aming sa Bay Area. And of course, we're not really late when it comes to when it comes to healthcare. As a matter of fact, Jennifer is in healthcare. Pero before we go into that, Jennifer, let me ask you: are you second generation, third generation already here in the U.S.?
First generation born here. My parents immigrated from the Philippines. And we,
Okay, so first generation. But since you probably know how to speak Ilocano rather than Tagalog, right?
now I only speak English,
So
unfortunately.
you only speak English. Okay, okay. So, but you were never educated. You were born and raised here. Is
Yes.
that
Yes.
okay? But have your dad? By the way, I've already forwarded the Facebook link.
Yes. I
You can
forwarded it as
share it
well.
to your
Yes.
dad. Okay, okay.
Here.
Uh, so have your dad shared with you his immigration story? How were you for your family was able to immigrate here in the U.S.?
Yes. Every day, especially when we were growing up, my father
Uh-huh.
and mother always made sure my siblings, so I'm the middle child, I have an older sister, younger brother, to make sure we understood um, all the sacrifices it took for my parents to have a better life here in the United States and in the Philippines. My dad grew up in a local Sursinite. He grew up way up in the hills in a bamboo house, flooded there, I think 10 months out of the year, had their own cattle. My dad would walk 14 miles round trip to school. When my dad was 3 or 4 years old, he would plant rice in the rice fields.
Mm-hmm.
My dad came to the United States via the United States Navy. He was recruited, and I believe there was only two people from his barrio that actually successfully made it through to the U.S. Navy. So that's how my father came to the United States. My mother is from La Cab, Nueva Ecija in Central Luzon, and my mother um, graduated nursing school in the
Okay.
Philippines, and then she
In
came
the
to the
okay.
United
In the
States.
Philippines,
Yeah,
nursing school, ah.
yes, and
Mm-hmm.
she came to the United States through Canada as a traveling nurse. And then my uncle, my mother's eldest brother, who is Dr. Jose Agaton Bernardo, the first only Filipino to receive an honorary doctorate degree in the California State University system. He was in the 70s and 80s. My uncle was on the California State Board of Nursing. And so he
Uh-huh.
petitioned my mother. And my uncle is actually responsible for a lot of Filipino nurses coming to the United States from the Philippines because he was on the California State Board of Nursing. So that's how my parents came here. My parents met in Stockton, California, and then got married from there and then had 3 children. And then we grew up in Fremont, California.
And about what year was that? Because you said your uncle was one of those who actually pioneered a lot of nurses here in California. Around what year was that?
I believe in the 70s and 80s from my
Uh-huh.
uncle while he sat on
Mhm.
the California State Board of Nursing. My parents both came here, I believe, in the mid 60s
Uh-huh.
or so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And growing up, were they able to share a lot of like Filipino culture, traits, and all those all sorts of stuff about Filipinos?
Yes, the culture, the food. My mom always cooked Filipino food, didn't really
Mhm,
go to fast food restaurants. Um, my dad was in the Navy, so he was in the Navy for 20 years. My mom was a nurse. So we
mhm,
pretty much spent a lot of time with my mother because my dad was traveling on the ship. And that's
mhm.
number one reason why, Mr. Don, we didn't learn Tagalog nor Ilocano is because my mom was raising us pretty much by herself.
Okay. Uh-huh.
They didn't want us to be,
But uh,
yeah,
but just the same. That has always been the story of a lot of Filipino families here.
yeah,
The father is in the Navy
yes,
and the mother is in
a
healthcare,
nurse, yes,
right?
yeah, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
why I was watching a YouTube clip that says that there was a joke that there is this TV series in here in the U.S. where it's the setting is the hospital,
Mm.
and it has run for 17 seasons, and they say that it's a fake show because they do not see any Filipino in that series,
Oh,
which is
yes,
really kind of impossible because uh, if you go to any hospital, there's a lot of like Filipinos,
everywhere.
Filipino nurses in particular,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Mhm, mhm. So, so growing up, you actually grew up in Fremont, right?
yes. I
Uh,
grew up in Fremont,
and
and it's pretty heavily
uh-huh,
densely Filipino next to Union City. So
hmm
I grew up with a lot of Filipinos.
hmm yeah, I really remember a lot of friends of mine back then. Fremont is actually one of the places where a lot of Filipino people actually moved from the Philippines, right?
Yes.
They went directly Fremont, of course, other than Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Daly
Mhm.
City. Yep.
Uh-huh.
San Francisco.
Uh, does your parents have any involvement in any Filipino community? Because when I first set foot here in the U.S., actually it's in Chicago, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of like Filipino organizations that is actually really embrace you easily, immediately. Is that the same case with your family?
Yes, definitely. My dad and some of his good friends actually established a nonprofit organization out of Union City, Fremont, called Anak to Sinait, so the kids of Sinait, to really bring together those that grew up in that region of the Philippines. And that he established that with his friends, I believe in the 80s, late 70s, early
Uh-huh.
80s, and it's still going strong now. And so they have a Northern California chapter and a Southern California chapter.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one of the things I don't know if you've heard this because you said your dad is from is an Ilocano, right?
Yes.
And do you? I am sure you know the what's this the term they call bakuna. Do you have you heard of that?
No.
Like they're you ask $1, a quarter to an Ilocano before they give you the quarter, it's already crumpled. The
Oh.
the 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 water itself is crumpled, because they hold on too much to their money. That's the joke around here.
Mm. Oh, God. I'm gonna tell him that when he comes home.
Uh, yeah, but that has always been, but really, that's not the case because a lot of our kababayan Filipinos are actually well off, especially those that coming from the Philippines. Because Ilocanos, mind you, is probably the most traveled. They are like the Chinese of the Filipinos. They're
Mm.
everywhere. Do you agree
Mhm.
with that?
Yes. Yes. I
Mm-hmm.
meet a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Ilocanos.
Uh-huh. A lot of them, yeah. A lot of Ilocano. But do you have family here?
Yes, I have family in Salinas, my dad's
Uh-huh.
sister's family. My mom's family is here as well in Stockton,
Mm-hmm.
LA area, and in Arizona.
Uh-huh.
So
I was just wondering, you said your dad is in the Philippines. What
yes,
about your mom?
my mom actually passed away about
Oh, I'm
two
sorry to
years
hear that.
ago. Yeah, thank you. Um,
Uh-huh.
but my parents together, especially when they retired, they traveled a lot to different cruises.
Uh-huh.
So they definitely had a lot of travel time together around the world.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that's the best thing for you to do whenever you get on your retirement age. I
Yes.
think traveling is, I actually have a friend who actually travels a lot. So he actually watches the promo for Southwest. As soon as he heard the $49 promo, he actually books himself together with wife and they fly, wherever
Yes.
just to really enjoy the vacation because you'll realize life is so short, right,
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Mhm. That's
Absolutely.
why it is so impressive. It is so impressive that when I get to know you and I was looking at your card, you are an administrator for the Telecare Burial Right Crisis Residential and Substance Use. You know, it is something that is really difficult to take, especially the kind of clientele that you have. So let me ask you, why did you choose your profession in mental health?
I chose that profession, Mr. Don, specifically because I believe as a teenager, I was depressed. I believe that, I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't happy with where I was going, but I had nobody to talk to. My parents didn't understand because they
Mhm.
immigrated here. Mental health was a little different, right, for immigrants. It was more about you making money, getting a good job, providing for your family, roof over your house, clothes on your back, right? That's how you show your kids you love them.
Uh-huh.
And the counselors at my school were white men. Nobody looked like me. Um,
Uh-huh.
and so, when I was telling my parents about it when I was a teenager that, there's something wrong happening, I just didn't really know how to put words to it. My dad said, "What do you mean?" He said, "In the Philippines, I was planting rice at 3, 4, 5 years old. I came
Mhm.
here by myself. I don't understand what you're saying." And that's honestly the reason why I became a therapist, a marriage and family therapist, is because in our culture, we don't talk about our problems. We keep them in our house. We don't, say anything to anybody. And so I remember telling my parents after I received my bachelor's degree that I really wanted to help people. And my mom being a nurse,
Mhm.
my dad being in the Navy, they
Mhm.
didn't understand at first what I meant about being a therapist. My mom thought I meant a therapist was like a massage therapist, like people that massage your body. I said, "No, mom, those that you talk to." And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You hear people's problems, you help them process, you help come up with the action plan." And so I went into my master's program in counseling psychology with a marriage and family therapy track where I collected over 3,000 clinical hours for licensure and I became licensed. And it is such a healing experience, Mr. Don, to be in a field of, around mental health stabilization and those that struggle with substance use and drug recovery and alcohol, because it does happen in our culture and we don't talk about it. So, as the administrator, I'm the director of two programs. For clients to see me as an Asian woman, to see me as the person in charge of these programs, and I'm Asian,
Uh-huh.
really brings out a lot of feelings, and for people to understand, like, wow, you are the face of the programs along with my staff, to
Mhm.
really um, break open the trauma that has happened, in our culture around not talking about things and why substance use problems are here and why family is so important. So
Yeah.
it's been, yeah.
Mhm. Well, it's just that, homelessness, like right now, no,
Oh, yeah.
homelessness has become a very big problem here in California, in particular, right?
Yes.
And as you can see, one major reason for that has always been mental health, and
Yes.
it is probably one of the hardest thing to deal with, right?
Yes. Yes.
How come you had the tenacity to really enjoy doing what others would probably be hate doing,
Yeah.
Jennifer?
It's really the compassion, empathy, the understanding, a lot of patience, um,
Uh-huh.
to understand where people are coming from. People struggle, people don't know sometimes how to access services, and they give up. I don't always believe homelessness is a choice. For somebody that is struggling with mental illness, especially those that may be unmedicated and need psychotropic medications to remain stable. And then substance use recovery, hits every socioeconomic status, every ethnicity. So everybody, has different resiliency skills to come out of, certain traumatic events. And some people don't.
Mhm.
Some people don't have that level
Mhm.
of coping skills, no, and level of support to help them.
Uh, well, there is always a psychological uh, what's this point of view in every case, right?
Yeah.
It would be very difficult. It would be very difficult for you to really identify what what is the root cause of different kinds of problems. So, do you enjoy like identifying all of those?
I wouldn't necessarily say identifying, it's more of, understanding where people come from, the decisions that they make, and how to help them
Mm-hmm.
move forward to make better decisions in the future. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and if that means, a client or a family member needs, mental health support or just needs someone to talk to, I think it's so different when you have a therapist, someone that you don't know, that you can disclose anything without judgment, versus someone that you do know. So as a
Uh-huh.
therapist, myself, people tell you their darkest secrets that they probably would not tell others. So it's, that the difference of not being judged in that kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, most definitely. But honestly, Doc Jennifer, I salute you. Your line of work is really very difficult, and the task ahead is really humongous because simply because the problem of mental health is so huge here in California.
Yes.
Uh, uh, but one other aspect of being in the healthcare industry is, let me just tell you that it's the pay, right? But normally they end up like doctors. They end up as like nurses. You know, does being in the mental health profession, does that really give so much in terms of uh, compensation?
No. Um,
I was expecting that.
Respective to the fields of social work, marriage and family therapy, uh,
Mm-hmm.
counselors, like school counselors, unfortunately, that is like one of the lowest paid professions, but you have to get a master's degree and then you have to get more certifications after that.
Uh,
So, no, not really. It's not a highly competitive field where you make a lot of money. Not at all. You have to actually really love the work that you do, and the work that you have with the clients as a definitely rewarding experience, and seeing them, come out of their mental health crisis and become stable, um, and possibly stop using drugs and drinking.
that's why your dad would probably, and some of your friends probably will say, "Are you crazy?" well, anyway, considering the degree of difficulty in handling the situation that you are in, again, let me iterate that my hat's off, although I am not wearing any hats right now. But really, yours is really amazing. We're having a very good discussion here. Mga kababayan, I am actually talking to Dr. Jennifer Briscoe. She is actually a licensed marriage and family therapist. And she is also administrator for Telecare's Muriel Wright Crisis Residential and Substance Use Treatment Program right here in San Jose. And the discussion is really well rounded, and you really learn something from this. And we'll continue because Dr. Jennifer, what's amazing to her, in her is that she is also very active in the Filipino community. And we will continue that discussion when we come back. Sandali po lamang, babalik ang Radyo Agila sa Amerika.
EBC, Eagle Broadcasting Corporation. Ito ang Radyo Agila.
Ate Cha, busy ka ba?
Hindi naman, bakit?
Paalalahanan natin ang ating listeners tungkol sa pagkain ng masusustansyang pagkain gaya ng mga mabiberdeng gulay tulad ng kangkong, talbos ng kamote, broccoli, spinach at marami pang iba.
Uy, mga isdang sagana sa omega-3 gaya ng tuna, mackerel, tilapia, sardinas.
Citrus fruits tulad ng suha, dalandan, kalamansi at lemon.
Diyan nga pala, hindi citrus ang mansanas, peras, pakwan, saging, berries at mangga. Baka kasi ito ang kaisipan ng iba.
Pero sa totoo lang, napakaraming masustansyang pagkain na hindi naman mahal kung tutuusin na makatutulong para lumakas ang ating immune system.
Lalo na nga sa panahon ngayon na may pandemya, kailangan na malakas ang ating katawan para may panlaban tayo sa iba't ibang sakit.
At syempre, tuloy pa rin ang pagsusuot ng face mask, madalas na paghuhugas ng kamay, pagdadala ng alcohol at syempre yung social distancing.
Mabuti nang sumunod sa health protocols para na rin sa ating kapakanan.
Paalalang pangkalusugan ng inyong mga kaibigan sa Radyo Agila.
Amerika. Ako pa rin po ang inyong lingkod, Don Orozco, mula po rito sa Silicon Valley sa California. At gaya nga ng ating binanggit, ano po, ang ating pong panauhin ay si Doktora Jennifer Galindo Briscoe. Siya po ay isang licensed marriage and family therapist dito po sa Amerika, no? At earlier we discussed her obsession, is that her obsession into a profession that is all about mental health, and really it is a hard task. But anyway, before we left, ano po, I was asking her, I was telling you that she is also involved in several Filipino community organizations. But before that, ano po, let me just remind you that for those that are tuned in on radio, you can also watch us live on Facebook and on our YouTube channel. Just go to our Radyo Agila Facebook and YouTube page and you will be able to watch us. Ano po. Anyway, going back, welcome back, Dr. Jennifer.
Hi, thank you for having me back.
Okay, so let me just quickly ask, one of the things that actually make me decide to have you in my show is your heavy involvement in the community, not just the Filipino community, but the Asian community as well. So, who inspired you to become involved in the community?
Actually, several people. I would definitely say my father, because he
Mhm.
was involved also in church groups. My uncle, Dr. Jose Agaton Bernardo, who actually marched in the 70s with I got it. I just forgot his name from the grape strike in Watsonville. Cesar Chavez.
Okay.
My brother, who is Rodrigo Galindo, he sat on the Human Services Commission for San Jose. So for me, I wanted to get involved in the community. I actually moved from Fremont, which was Alameda County, into Santa Clara County when I got engaged to my husband now. So I moved communities and I really wanted to become active. And I signed up and applied to become a commissioner for the Commission on the Status of Women for Santa Clara County. So I'm appointed by District Supervisor, our previous supervisor, Wasserman, who has now
Mhm.
just stepped out. And then from there, I became involved in New Leaders Council Silicon Valley, which is a progressive leadership group. And then I became part of the board for Lead Filipino, here at grassroots organization here in San Jose, led by Dr. Angelica Cortez. So collectively with that, I wanted to find a way to give back to my community and get to help and support our own Filipino community because I really was not active growing up.
Mhm. A lot of people are surprised, yeah, because let me remind our audience, po, these are all volunteer stuff, po. You are not paid a single centavo, but the idea is really to just to give back to the community, and it is inspiring to see people like you, Dr. Jennifer, considering that you are so busy with your profession and you find a lot of time to volunteer. And you were telling us a while ago that you work with Dr. Angelica, right?
Yes.
That Lead Filipino.
Yes.
What does Lead Filipino do?
We help support activism, education, leadership, bringing our younger Filipinos together and Filipina X together for a movement around community, partnership, and support of each other. Because in our culture, we're pretty honest about it, especially in
Mhm.
Lead Filipino, talking about the crab mentality. As people climb up the ladder, we pull people down. And so, with Lead Filipino and Dr. Cortez's vision for Lead Filipino in 2015, is when it started. It was a movement of civic action, supporting different bills, voting rights, getting Filipinos to vote, be active in your community, help canvass for local candidates, help with our education awareness around our own culture, around our own history, and again, bring together our younger generation who will continue this movement moving forward. So for me, joining Lead Filipino and have this honor was a lot different from other organizations that I had been a part of. And just again, raising this movement with this young group has been amazing because those are our next generation that will continue our Filipino culture and our own history.
Your involvement in the community, does it have anything to do with the career that you have right now? Does
Yes,
it,
yes.
what is the correlation?
So my work on the Commission on the Status of Women, one of our greatest flagship programs is jail monitoring in the county jail at Elmwood. Looking
Really?
at, yes, so we go in before the pandemic, we were going into Elmwood County Jail twice a month on the women's side, interviewing the women there about their experiences from booking, getting arrested, going through the system, and ending up in Elmwood, what that experience was, what kind of services are being provided on the women's side as opposed to the men's side. So fairness in programming, um, making sure people are properly assessed, especially for mental health and mental wellness, making sure women have what they need as women while they are incarcerated. So that really interests me because that could impact anybody going through that system of how they're treated, going through that whole booking process and then serving time.
Mhm. You were talking earlier about being incarcerated, which means being in prison. Uh, are you not afraid? Because I had I can't. Well, I'll probably just say the opportunity,
Mm,
although it is not an opportunity. I had the chance really to
mm,
be in a death row in the Philippines,
mm.
and it is really completely different. But here, I think it's more like wilder and more dangerous, considering, especially now that there's too much Asian hate, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think
So were you not afraid going into and talking with these women that were incarcerated?
absolutely not. They're everyday women. You know, some are there for protecting themselves against domestic violence. So they're the person that actually got arrested versus the person that was being violent to them. Uh, some women made some bad decisions with maybe carrying drugs. A lot of women are mothers. So for me, no, it was just a great enlightening experience to see how people are treated while they are incarceration because it should be ethical and fair and treating people with human dignity and respect.
Wow. Uh, you see, you really are probably a tough woman, huh?
I mean, I try to be, open perspective, open mind, non-judgment,
Mhm.
um, because you can get easily arrested, right? You went out,
Uh-huh.
for dinner with your family, had a couple drinks, got pulled over.
Mhm.
You got a
Uh-huh.
DUI, you're in jail.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So
And, but by the way, Jennifer, I was just looking at the photos that you've actually sent, and I see like I'm thinking one of the picture is are those your siblings, like another female and another guy?
yes, my brother's in the middle.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh. And are they here in California? All of them are in California. I know
Yes.
your brother is here working in the city of San Jose, if I
Yeah,
am not mistaken.
so my brother
Uh-huh.
lives in San Jose. He's my
Mhm.
younger sibling. He works at Stanford School of Medicine. And then my sister lives in Vallejo with her husband, and she works in Oakland at an environmental organization.
Okay.
So
Are they also active in the community, just like you?
Not as much, but I would say my brother is. So my brother has a family. So yeah, we're active. Probably not as much as me, but they come to some of our events that we have.
Ah, okay. Well, you seem to be like a close family, closely family meet, and you support each other, and that is something that is so nice to look at. One other thing, one other photo, I am actually looking at it right now,
Mhm.
is that you are wearing a toga, the graduation toga, the uniform when you're graduating, Uh, and I know that you finished college, but you went into a master's degree, right? And I believe a doctor's degree.
Yes.
What inspired you to continue your higher education?
My parents actually.
Mhm.
My parents have always instilled education with us because you could always run out of money, but no one could take your knowledge.
Mhm.
My parents have always talked to all of us as kids going to school. That's what we needed to do. We needed to go to school, get a good education, so we can get a good job, so we could live a good life. So the reason why, Mr. Don, I continue my education all the way to my doctorate degree
Mhm.
was to also make my parents proud to see me walk across the stage 4 times, as a matter of fact. So I have an AA degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a doctorate degree. So they watched me walk across the stage 4 times, and I am the first doctor on both sides of my family, which makes me
Wow.
really, really proud because my parents got to see that, and my mom got to see that before she passed away.
Wow. At least you made them feel, not just really feel, but you really made them so proud of you, right?
Yes, it was because
Mhm.
of their sacrifice of working 2, 3 jobs each, pushing me through private school, and supporting me to
Mhm.
where I'm at now and how much I value, again, their sacrifice of coming here to the United States, building a great home, a stable home for, all of their kids to where
Mhm.
I'm at now. So I'm definitely in gratitude of my parents for doing that.
And of course, other than those those educational achievement, again, there's a lot of like community work which we've discussed earlier.
Mhm.
But what's really good is that I rely one of the things that I saw on your bio was that on in 2019, Congresswoman Anna Issue actually gave you a congressional recognition, right?
Yes.
Can you walk me through the process? Because again, uh, it is something that is make us, feel like so proud and so much achievement in life, right? Being
Mhm.
recognized by a congresswoman here in the United States. So, can you walk us through how this thing happened?
So as I became more involved in the community, first my pipeline as a commissioner, um, we did a lot of work in the community around our jail monitoring work. So every year for the commission, we would host an annual Women's Equality Day event where we highlighted women in the community and brought
Mhm.
together local leaders from all across our county and our cities here in Santa Clara County. And Congresswoman Anna came to recognize each of the appointed commissioners around the work that we're doing outside of our paid job. Like you said, Mr. Don, this is all volunteer. It takes
Uh-huh.
time, it takes energy, it takes commitment and passion. So we were
Mhm.
all honored to receive this certificate of appreciation from her.
Wow. And uh, how did that happen? Like, did they just gave you a call, or what was the process?
So we invited her to our Women's Equality Day event for the commission. And we, again, awarded recipients, female recipients, and those that were female allies in our community. And she was one of our speakers. And along with her speaking engagement, she provided all of the commissioners with the certificate of appreciation. at that
Oh,
event,
okay.
it was a
Mhm.
great honor because that's a really high honor at that congressional recognition.
But that is not just being in a Filipino organization, right? It is a wide array of organization with multi-ethnic participants. Am I correct?
Yes, this is for Santa Clara County, so not ethnic specific at all.
Uh-huh. So, and one of the things that happened again is that in 2021, which is just 2 years ago, uh, Assembly Member Ash Kalra
Hmm.
actually gave you a recognition as a woman of distinction,
Yes,
right?
yes.
How
He
is the feeling? And again, uh, because uh, me being Filipino and you being a Filipina, like kababayan, of course, I am also so proud of the recognition that you get. So, how did that end up as being a woman of distinction? What were the qualities pointed out by Assembly Member Ash Kalra by having you as the awardee?
So every year, March is Women's History Month. Uh, so uh, Mr. Kara, he recognizes women in his district in
Mhm.
different categories. So for that year, that actually we were in COVID, and his staff reached out to me and to let me know that he is selecting me for that award. Because of my community work with Lead Filipino, being on the commission, being part of New Leaders Council Silicon Valley, being president,
Mhm.
present at events. I helped him canvass for one of his elections. And he actually came to my house and gave me that. And he presented that to me.
Really?
Yeah, because we were on COVID. Other than that would be, somewhere with a, presentation. But I was really honored that he came to my house and presented it to me. Because,
Mhm.
he's also a leader in our community. So for us to, recognize each other in our own fields is, just an amazing way to uplift people for the work that they do with because you have passion for what you do, not about compensation.
Wow. I am really happy for you, Dr. Jennifer, no? Because again, you made us fellow Filipinos so proud of being Filipino because again, you have brought the best out of the Filipinos.
Well, thank
And
you, Mr. Gunn.
one other thing, before you said earlier, oh, 1 hour. 1 hour, I think that's too long, but you'll see, we're almost done with an hour and we're still halfway of our, we do not feel that how time flies. But anyway, I know that Dr. Jennifer, you are married to
Yes,
a non-Filipino, right?
correct. My husband is
Uh-huh.
black. He's from the East Coast, grew up in the South. And my parents, in all honesty, were fine with it. I got married later
Uh-huh.
on in life. So I didn't rush getting married. Went to school first, got my bachelor's and my master's degree, and I got married almost at the cusp of finishing my doctorate degree. So,
Mhm.
my parents didn't have a problem with it. They love my husband, Aaron. And I'm
Mhm.
so glad that, that it wasn't an issue. It was more of, my parents making sure that, I was happy and I found a companion. And my parents and my family are very accepting of him.
And how long were you like dating? How long were you like engaged?
Um,
I,
we we
I
had
will give him I will give him a plaque of appreciation for waiting.
We dated for we've been together for almost 20 years.
Really?
We dated for about 5 years, so we've been married for 12 years now. So we were
Wow.
in a relationship for years before we got married.
Is he a school buddy? How did you meet?
We met online. He went to a historical Black university. He went to North Carolina A&T in North
Uh-huh.
Carolina, and he was a software engineer. He worked for IBM. He graduated top 10 of his class in computer engineering. And he ended up here
Wow.
from North Carolina
Uh-huh.
and Chicago to here, IBM.
Mm-hmm.
They have a huge campus here. So he came as a software engineer, and that's how I met him. And I met him during a transition in his life where he didn't want to do that anymore. It wasn't bringing him passion. So he became a personal trainer and owns his own business now.
Oh, really? That right now he is a personal trainer?
Yes. Yep. And enjoys every
Uh,
day doing it.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. So that's a complete turnaround, right?
Yes. Yes.
From being an engineer to becoming a personal trainer.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Uh, uh, and are you one of his student, or you don't go to him because he charges a lot?
No, it's part of my benefit package. My benefit package.
Okay. uh, but you haven't been blessed with any children.
No, not yet.
Okay, and I am sure it will come. You know, just keep on praying and keep on having that faith, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And of course, in 2 weeks' time, your dad will be coming back.
From
Uh,
vacation.
So,
Hi, Dad.
uh, is that what do you say? Is that, oh, here comes trouble again?
I know.
No,
I know.
we're just joking, Mr. Galindo. I know Dr. Jennifer is so excited to see you. It's
Yes, we
just
miss.
that that has always been his vacation time, like 2 months in the Philippines, right?
Yes.
So before I let you go, have you traveled back to the Philippines?
Yes, I've been there twice.
Okay, and how'd you like it?
I loved it. It's the weather's beautiful, meeting my family there, and
Mm-hmm.
really getting to see where my parents came from to really truly deeply understand a
Uh-huh.
section of their experience to um be so thankful for
Uh-huh.
the life that I have now.
And any favorite food that when you go to, you just stay in Ilocos, right? You don't go to Manila.
No, I've been to Manila.
Okay. Is your dad staying in Manila too, or
No,
is he staying in the province?
he's in the province. He's in his hometown, Sanat in
Oh,
Ilocos, sir.
so you are a city girl.
Yeah.
Well, of course, we've always. What particular part of Ilocos is your dad from?
Sinayat.
What's that?
Sinayat?
Sinaid.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, it's just a small town in Ilocos. That's
Yes.
Ilocos Sur or Ilocos Norte?
Ilocos Sur Norte.
Ilocos Sur. Okay. But and you've been there also, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, uh, what would be the best food there?
I would say the pancit.
Oh, still the pancit, huh? The never-ending pancit.
Yeah, can't
We
go wrong
love
with pancit. Can't go wrong
pancit.
with pancit.
Do you also cook pancit here?
Yes.
Does your husband love your pancit, or he buys it somewhere else?
No, he likes my pancit. And he better say the same
Well,
thing.
anyway, Dr. Jennifer, thank you so much for the time. I am hoping you enjoyed the interview
Yes.
as I enjoy it much. It's just that it is very hard because we have to speak in English. But anyway, it was really great to have you in our show. Is there anything that you want to greet before we say goodbye?
Just want to say hi, Dad. I love you. I will see you soon. Mr. Don, our paths crossed for a reason, and I'm so honored to have been on your show, and I look forward to more interactions with you.
Definitely. Let's work together because, I myself, I am very much involved
I
with
saw
the Filipino American community. And, we missed you yesterday. I attended the 125th
Oh,
Independence Day celebration, and there's a lot of like Filipino community leaders there. So it was a blast. Mhm.
Thank you for going.
Anyway, thank you so much. Yan
Thank you.
po si Dr. Jennifer G. Briscoe. Siya po ay isang licensed marriage and family therapist at hindi lang yan, ano po. Siya po ay administrator ng Telecare's Memorial Right Crisis Residential and Substance Use. We haven't even talked about that one, the substance use. But anyway, we'll do it some other time. And again, maraming salamat po mula po rito sa Silicon Valley, California. Ako po si Don Orozco, and thank you kay ating kasamang si Bob sa kanyang pag-assist. And of course, thank you sa ating mga viewers sa Facebook Live, sa YouTube Live, and of course, sa Radyo Agila. Magandang tanghali, hapon, gabi po sa inyong lahat. God bless.